You're listening to Polished Woman, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies. All my polished women out there. Today we have a special episode. Addiction and recovery can be difficult topics to discuss. In fact, I've invited a lot of them, and they just won't. It's just hard for them to come out here and admit what's happening to them. So too often when someone learns that a person has an addiction to something, that response isn't one that's helpful or understanding. This is a problem though, because while having an addiction and going through the process of recovery can be a defining part of a person's life, they shouldn't be the only things we use to define who or how someone is. Words like addiction, recovery, and sobriety can be a taboo to some people. Even people who are struggling with drugs or alcohol or addictions to sex or gambling may have a hard time identifying that they have a problem, which is true. And even when they become even when they become sober, they still may be there will be still hesitance to say these words in a relation to their experiences, because even if no one else is judging them, it's still possible that they may be judging themselves. Mm-hmm. I want anyone who may be listening to this show who feels like they're not ready to speak up to feel free, they want to speak up to feel free to call in and talk to us, and most important, to understand that they are not alone. So you can call us or text us or anytime and ask Marissa your questions. Today, my special guest, I'm so happy and really grateful that she's here right now. Marissa Vitali, the writer, producer, lead actress of the award-winning short film Grace, a woman who's been very open about her personal struggles with addiction and equally candid about what she's done to achieve and maintain her sobriety. Marissa, I want to start with, how was your life before this whole thing? Because I want to know how it started. Like, how are you when you were a kid, like a child?
Well, before I even jump into that, I just want to say thank you. Because the fact that you're even asking these questions and having this conversation is so important. And I really feel that by you hosting this conversation today of recovery, this is what we need more of. So I want to say thank you, because that gives people the courage to kind of speak out and share their stories, right? Yeah. So I want to say thank you to you, and thank you to LA Talk Radio for actually continuing this conversation of recovery.
No, and thank you for coming. For even, you're so courageous. You're just being brave to come out here and do all this. The story that you just wrote and your film. Because there's a lot of. In fact, I just mentioned there were like 3 people that I actually called for this, and I think some of them are in denial, and some of them are just. I don't know, embarrassed to be here or, but the thing is, it's good to share what you're going through, right, to other people, because there are people out there who have the same, situation. So because I want to know for people who are not there yet, how was your life before? How did you start? Like, how, is it the family or what?
It's so interesting because we're also at a time where the stereotype of what and who an addict is has totally changed, but yet I think people haven't really thought about that. A lot of people still consider the junkie as someone standing on the corner with a needle in their arm. And I can speak from my own experience. I grew up in the epitome of suburbia, Long Island, New York, straight A student, captain of cheerleading, star of the high school plays, graduate of NYU Tisch, did very well in school, had all the things on the outside that look like this is what you're supposed to have, what you desire to have, what you want to achieve in your life. And
you went
and
through
yet
college.
I still
you went through
became
college with
an addict. So I think that if we can start to realize that it's affecting all aspects of our society and our community and all different neighborhoods and walks of life, that maybe we can be a little bit more compassionate with one another. For myself, I was bullied as a kid. And I can really attribute the fact of not knowing how to process my emotions and my feelings with that's really kind of what fueled my using. Because the first time I took a drink at a high school football keg party.
How old were you?
And I didn't have to feel all of that. I was like, whoa, I really like this. And so then that just kind of got you off to the races kind of thing of like, you know, as a child, and growing up, and you throw hormones into the mix, and you're trying to figure out who you are, and you really have no idea who you are, and you have all these feelings going on, and you don't really want to feel them. Someone gives you something that allows you to not have to feel that. That's a really, like, thumbs up for you. Like, you want more of that, whatever that is. It could be in a drink, it could be in a cigarette, it could be in sex, it could be in a pill. But, you know, whatever that is, at that time, that was just like such a great escape for me.
But do you think it's because you're not getting attention from your home, from your
I had
loved
very
ones?
loving parents. I grew up as an only child, so I had I was afforded a lot of opportunities that I know that maybe I wouldn't have had if I had brothers and sisters. So in terms of attention and focus and things like that, I mean, I had all of that at home. However, I didn't know how to get through my emotions in school every day being bullied. I felt like I was going to war every day.
You were
yes,
bullied.
I was.
Do you think this has something to do with what happened to you, like with the whole addiction thing?
Yes. I think for myself that coming to alcohol, which then led me to drugs, was a way to kind of not have to feel those feelings. Because what happens with bullying when it starts young, I can say mine started in 5th grade, so kind of the end of elementary school, and then all through junior high and high school. What happens with bullying is that you start to truly believe that there's something wrong with you as a person. So it becomes a really deep kind of question that you have, like, why are these people being so cruel to me? Why are these people being so mean to me? I didn't do anything, so therefore there must be something innately wrong with me. And so it really plays into self-worth and confidence. And then when you have the drugs and the alcohol and you don't have to feel that, you can feel like you're the superwoman or the superman at that time, so to speak.
But did you do it? Did you do the whole alcohol or drugs with someone, or you just did it yourself? Because I know a lot of people that does it by themselves, and there are some that does it by, you know, that they get a group and they're all together, and they become friends with Well, for me in school, it was kind of, you know, going to the parties and drinking, but I made that association that was an escape. And then going to school in New York City, I got very involved in the club scene in New York City and going out and partying. And so I didn't really realize that I had a problem, because it's like, oh, we're going out. You know, it's all a part of this, like you said, idea of socializing. Like, this is what we do when we go to a club. This is what we do when we go to a party, kind of thing. But it wasn't until I started using heroin that I realized this is a quote-unquote problem. How were you introduced to heroin if you were already getting this, you know, whatever, you know, the high or something from alcohol, or let's say marijuana or cocaine? Why did you, you know, choose, and to the extent that you had to do heroin? What made you do it?
Well, youth is very deceiving, right?
Okay,
we
I
think
know.
we're gonna live
I
forever.
know,
We
I
are
know.
invincible.
Yeah.
We can do whatever we want to do. Nothing's ever gonna happen to us.
yes.
And so I always knew that heroin was, ooh, you don't do heroin,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's the kind of
It's like
that's
scary. I
yeah,
feel like
that's
that's
very
gonna give me a heart
taboo
attack.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
However, having youth on my side at the time, I was like, oh well, I'm never gonna have a problem with it. Yeah, I can try it. I can do it. No big deal. I've tried everything else. So what difference is that gonna be? And little did I know that with heroin, there's a physical addiction that comes with it. So, you know, you kind of make the mind shift of like, well, I'm choosing this to do this every day or every other day. And then you kind of cross the line where you're like, oh no, now I'm dope sick and I have to do this every day.
Oh gosh, but how? I mean, this is like crazy because I mean, I'm not saying I'm clean, but I did, you know, of course, when I was younger, I did drugs. I even did that stuff where you spray and you inhale it, and then you're like high for like a few seconds. I was like, what the heck is this? It's crazy. But because I think it's also the people that you choose to surround yourself with, right? And during the time that I was doing it, I was surrounded with people who are doing the same thing, and I just started like, okay, this is not good, and I just want to be, you know, away from these people. And but you know, you don't belong to the group, you know. So, but it's really hard. How long have you been sober? I just want you to
Sure. Actually, July 18th this year, I've been clean 16 and a half years from heroin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I just say, because I used to date someone who you know, who is addicted to cocaine, and he's a Hollywood star, and I see him nowadays, and he's just like, you know, he looks, I mean, he's still, you know, but he looks awful, and the skin and everything. But can I just say, she looks so beautiful for someone who got addicted to heroin and a lot of like stuff. And her skin is so nice, and I know. I'm telling this because I was surrounded with people who got addicted to, you know, stuff, and they look awful. But you look so good, and because it's sick. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I want to talk about, you know, so after that, after being sober, when did you, wait, I want to ask you first, when did you finally say, okay, I'm done? Like, I want to stop this. Or did someone made you stop?
It's so interesting because everybody always asks me that, and I never decided to get clean.
Wow.
It just happened. And I say that in the fact of, you know, here you have NYU Tisch grad, ending up being homeless in New York City.
But what happened to your parents though?
Well, my parents allowed me to kind of come home to try to get things together once they found out. But by that time, I was already kind of out of the house. So they afforded me a place to kind of come and stay and get things together. And I just realized I didn't want to be there, because there were a lot of requirements, you know, the tough love kind of kicked in. You have to have a job and you have to do this. And I was like, I can't do all of that. And so I really just went to rehab because I saw it as what we would say 3 hots and a cot. Like I saw it as a vacation. I didn't actually go because I wanted to stop using. I just figured like, I don't want to live here. So I can go there, live for free, like put a little weight on and figure out what my next move is going to be, or how I can just kind of use on the weekend to go to a party. So it's so interesting because it's very rare that you find people that got clean or sober that actually like made a decision like, I'm going to do this.
Yes, because most of the time they would go through all hell, you know, before they realize, okay, I'm stopping. But you didn't, that didn't happen to you. Like, you just stopped gradually, or?
Well, once I was in treatment, I stayed there. I did 3.5 months in treatment.
How old were you when?
I got clean at, I'm hesitant to give my number.
No. All right, no. Okay.
Since I look so great.
Yeah, you look no, she really does.
That's
she
where
does
the pause
look great.
came
Okay,
from.
no. Yeah. No, because she does look great. I swear, I've seen a lot of them, and they don't look like you.
Well, so, I've also, you know, I juice a lot. I eat very healthy, vegan, and so, you know, I take care of myself in other ways now that I'm clean.
That is amazing. I mean, so is being sober an active process? For instance, is it something that you have to think about in order to maintain it?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say so. I think, you know, there's different phases of being clean and sober. I think, you know, there's a wealth of information and experience in 12-step programs. I mean, it's pretty much right all there. If you want ways and how, the information's all there for you.
Yeah.
I've had my journey with that. I think that there's wonderful things that you can get from different kinds of therapy as well as life coaches. And then, you know, you do get to a point where then you really realize that it is actually a spiritual journey that we're on.
Yes.
Right?
That's so true.
That's why we're here.
It is.
Right? I mean, just you with this show, it's like, this is your spiritual journey of being able to share with these women of, you know, how they can navigate different situations. And I think that once you kind of tune into that, of what is your story and how we can share our story to help others.
I know.
Then
That's
it
so
kind of takes a
true.
whole nother
That's
turn.
so true. Sometimes, you know, things happen in your life so that you can use it and share it to other people. But, you know, sometimes you have to go through pain.
Yes.
So much pain before you realize, oh, I can use this. I can inspire people and encourage people, you know, because of your life. So, Marisa, you found success both from off and behind the camera. Can you tell us more about your short film, Grace?
Oh, sure,
What
yeah.
inspired it and what your plans are with it?
Oh. Well, it's so interesting because
And
once
how
again,
it happened. Yeah.
once again, I didn't set out to make a film.
What?
It just
This
kind
is
of
crazy.
happened.
Like, she didn't really plan anything in her life. It's just sort of everything that happened to her life. Yeah.
I was very big into journaling, and
Okay.
still to this day, it's a very
Ooh.
kind of cornerstone of
Yeah.
my world and my life. And so I was always writing my story when and how I started using, but I never knew how it ended because I felt like it was still happening, even
Yeah.
today, right?
Yeah.
The journey, it still is kind of continuing. And so I had an acting teacher at the time who kind of gave all of us a charge in class. And he said, everyone has a story to tell, go out there and tell it. And so I left class like stumbling out. It was like snowing that night in the West Village, walking through the streets, and I'm thinking to myself, I have a fucking story.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. We
No,
could.
you can. It's okay. I always
I'm
say.
like, okay, I know I
always
have
say the F
something.
word here. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, so I kind of was having this kind of rumble around in my mind. And the next day I took a nap and I woke up and I just started writing. And as soon as I put
Wow.
the pen down, I looked at what I wrote and I realized it wasn't the story of how I started using, but it was actually the story of my first year clean. And my
Wow.
first year clean was the most difficult.
The most difficult, right?
I would have to say it was probably one of the most difficult periods in my life. I was back home on Long Island. I was waitressing in our local town diner, slinging home fries and whole wheat toast, 5 a.m. breakfast
Wow.
shift every day, having to see people that I went to high school with,
Yeah.
teachers, family, friends, and
So you took all of this. You really
yes.
humbled yourself
Yes.
and did it. And
Yes.
you didn't care.
Yes. Well, it was very emotional because
Yeah, it was very
it was
emotional.
the first time I didn't have a drug or a drink to hide behind. And I had to face all the fear, the
yes.
anger, the resentment, the embarrassment of like, this is what my life has come to.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay using
Yes.
because you're just like, oh, this sucks. I'm just going to keep using so I don't have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you stop using and you have to look at the wreckage of your life and you don't have an escape,
Yes.
I felt so vulnerable and so exposed. And my family, they never had an addict in their family.
I know, I was
They
actually
don't
gonna
know how
ask
to
you
have that
that, yeah.
conversation. And so, you know, my family was like, well, you're not using heroin, so you're okay. Like, you're good. And in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm thinking, I'm far from good, you know?
Yeah.
And so in writing Grace, I realized that this is the story to tell. This is the conversation to have, is a conversation of recovery. How can we bring people together
Yes.
to talk about recovery like you're doing right
Yes,
now, you know,
yes.
so that someone who isn't in recovery can have a little bit more understanding so we can lift the stigma.
Yeah.
Because people are so embarrassed and ashamed to come forward and to share their stories that it's difficult, and that can actually keep someone using for a
Yes.
long time.
So you used your writing and
Yes.
filming, you know, your short film to inspire. You mean to inspire people now?
Yes.
Wow, this is like an amazing. So there's a lot. Actually, Marisa, there's a lot of people out there who have been sober for like a year or 2, and then they would again do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what can you say about that? I mean, how I felt it's really hard, right? And especially if you're, surrounded by, if you go out on a girls' night out and everyone is drinking and you're not like, okay, how about me? Like how, it's very hard because I actually have friends as well who are sober for like years now, and it's just for us, it's like, oh, we can't bring, when we go to our house, oh, we can't bring alcohol because they can't be around alcohol. Or but there, some of them are like, no, fine, we can, like, some of them are very strong that even if alcohol is right there in front of them, they're good. But how will you advise these people who have been, because you said that it's not, it's you're still not sure, even if you've been sober for like 5 years or 10 years, you're still like, you have, how do you continue it? How can you be sure that you'll be sober forever? Is it just
I don't
by
know
continuing to do what, to do the, what do you call that, AA
There's
for
AA
alcohol,
and NA.
and then and then
Narcotics Anonymous
yes,
for
Narcotics
drugs.
Anonymous, or continue therapy, or continue being in a group of, like a support group people. What do you, what did you do?
I can say from my experience,
Mhm.
I followed people that were successful and were
Oh,
winners.
okay,
And I think that this
listen,
is a life
yeah.
lesson in anything that you do. If you want to do something, look at who's doing it and doing it well and for
Okay.
a long time. So in terms
Oh,
of
that's good.
staying clean, I only would associate with people that had a lot of time clean or sober.
Okay.
And I would ask them questions like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Kind of thing.
Okay.
I always surrounded myself with people that knew more than me, that had
Yeah.
more experience than me, that could kind of show me the way. I wasn't looking to surround myself with people that were using at the time or struggling to stay clean, kind of thing. So I think the people
Yeah.
that you surround yourself with, like you were sharing earlier,
Yeah.
are so important. And also to learn how to, one, have a good time without using and what that looks like, and to be
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah.
And what is okay for you, kind of thing. What makes you feel comfortable or uncomfortable.
Do you find something, like, for example, with alcohol, they would instead of alcohol, they would drink coffee, like 16, some of them 16, 15 times a day, or Coke. Coke, they would drink Coke like, oh my gosh, 10 times a day. It's crazy, Max. I was like, wait, what is that? And I didn't know the reason why they drink, or the other, kombucha. They drink kombucha.
Well, drinking kombucha is
Okay.
better.
Drinking kombucha. What is that? I mean, it does really help, right? To have something, like to do something instead of drinking alcohol. To, like, I don't know how you call that, but instead of being addicted to something, you get addicted with replacement, like with caffeine or something, right? But did you do the same thing?
I'm trying to think back of what I kind of did. I think for me it was more, I just over kind of scheduled and booked myself. So I kept myself really busy and I
Yeah,
worked a lot.
See, listen, okay.
That's kind of what I did.
Keep
that
yourself
was my,
busy.
That was my way to not have any downtime. Was I just
Yeah.
worked a lot. I scheduled a lot of things. I was like working 7 days a week kind of thing, until I realized
Okay,
like
good.
that's not really an answer either.
Okay.
So I think everyone has their own way of kind of coping with it. I know some people go for the Haagen-Dazs or
Yeah. So,
those
but with
Twix
her,
bars can be really yummy, or
yeah.
whatever.
Okay,
But,
so if you
um,
can't find any work, keep yourself busy. Or drink kombucha. Wait, what advice would you give someone who may be starting to realize that they have a problem with addiction, which is good, but does not know where to go or to get help or to take the first step to get help? Because there's a lot of people who are in denial, right? That they are, no, I'm not an addict. No, I'm not. And there's a lot, of mom out there who drinks. I had this information that more women nowadays drink more than men, and without realizing, and they would not admit that they're actually addicted to alcohol. but they would drink alcohol every. So what is your advice to those, to to these women out there who's starting, and without realizing, and for women who are, oh my gosh, I think I'm addicted to so and so, or I'm addicted to pain reliever, or sex. It's not okay. We're not just talking about heroin. We're talking about alcohol, sex, pain reliever, or even
shopping,
even
or
shop. Oh yeah, shopping. Are you?
Yep.
Do I have addiction? It's shopping or gambling. There's a lot. So what is your advice for these women?
Well, I think for people that are concerned,
Okay.
as a loved one, I think it's really important for them to just let the person know that they're concerned about them,
Okay.
that they love them, and that they're there for them no matter what.
Okay.
That when you're ready, if you're ready, I am here for you 100%. You can call me at 3:00 in the morning. I will be there. You just let me know.
Okay.
Because then that kind of puts it on the radar, and it breaks the ice of the conversation to come.
But do you tell your spouse or kids or parents to help you? Do you admit to them? Do you ask for their help?
Did I personally?
Yes.
No.
No. Okay.
However, I know that when I was using, I would say to myself, like, why am I doing this? I wasn't brought up to do this. This isn't what I wanted to be when I grew up. And yet I still use because I was sick.
Yeah.
So it becomes a maintenance kind of thing. And then it becomes a little bit about, well, let me just get through today and then I'll figure it out. So when an addict asks for help, the window is so small
Oh.
that it can really pass very quickly. And so even if you know that it's not right and that there is a quote unquote problem, because that's how you tell yourself, oh, maybe it's a
yeah.
little problem, not a big deal,
Yeah.
to get into the next step can be very challenging. I can tell you I started making meetings in New York City for 3 years before I got clean. And I only went to the meeting because a friend of mine who was also using told me, oh, so-and-so makes this meeting. And he was a famous singer of a band that we used to listen to. So we would really just go to the meeting because he was there.
Oh.
However, the seed was planted that when I was ready, I kind of had people that I could go to.
Oh, that helps a lot as well.
So
you
it's
guys.
kind of planting the seed of
Yeah.
where you can go. I'm here for you when you're ready. You just let me know.
Oh, that's amazing. I have a question for you. When after this whole sobriety happened, did you ever went back to your hometown and to your parents and apologize?
Well, I shot Grace, my film,
Yeah.
in my hometown, in the diner I worked in my first year clean. So it was very much a
Aw.
homecoming of sorts.
Yeah.
And that was really wonderful. We actually did a premiere in my hometown at the
That's
Equity Theater, the John
amazing.
Engerman Theater, and we raised $19,000 for youth services in Suffolk County
Wow.
to help with preventative care for
Yeah.
youth in Suffolk County on Long Island. And so I really wanted to bring the film back to the community as a
yes.
thank you. And my parents and I have really come a long way, and they've just been so supportive and wonderful, and I'm so grateful to have them on this journey with me. So
How many days or months did you film the movie?
we shot the film.
Wait, you starred.
Yes.
You were the star of it. She acted in the movie as well.
Yes,
Oh
I
my
did.
gosh.
I did.
Yeah.
Which was, it was a wonderful experience to be able to
It's
kind
good
of
to portray
come back
that. Yeah,
around and
yeah.
kind of re-experience it. And we actually had a 3.5-day shoot. So we did 3 days in the diner and then a half day in New York City shooting. And we had a wonderful festival run. We did the festival circuit for about 2 years. We won a lot of awards.
Wow.
And now we're currently screening it at colleges and universities, recovery rallies, high schools, to start this conversation of recovery. So, kind
That's
of bringing it back to the
amazing,
community.
Marissa.
So,
Huh? Oh yeah, how can people out there get involved? Do you have any website where they can go
Yes.
to, or women who are actually experiencing the same thing? Can they call
Sure,
you, or
sure.
can they
I'm
connect with you?
very active on social media, Marissa Vitale,
Okay.
and the website for the film Grace is www.grace-the-movie.com. You can also contact me directly from the film's website as well. So,
Oh my gosh, I'm
Yes.
so proud of her.
Wow.
I have like one last question. Is this success that you have right now something that you imagined early in your life while you were, on it and
Never.
trying to be sober?
Never in a million years.
Yeah.
I always say my life is nothing what I ever imagined it to be,
Mhm.
but it's more than I ever could have imagined it to be. And that kind of sums up the journey.
That's so nice. Oh my gosh, I'm wrapping up this show. So happy.
Thank you so much.
This is like amazing. Well, okay, wait, before we
Yes.
go. How about do you want to get married and have a family? Are you dating right now? Because my book is Date Like a Girl, Marry Like a Woman.
I
You are
am.
so pretty. She's so beautiful. I want her to be married and, date. Is she available? Wait, hold on.
I am dating at the moment, so I don't know if marriage is the road for me.
Okay.
However, I don't know. We'll see. Well see how that all kind
You,
of goes.
well, you said you never planned anything in your life. It just
Exactly.
came,
I'm
so
always open,
it's
so
gonna
we'll see.
come. Oh my! Thank you so much. So my advice. I want
It's
to
so
be
funny
honest.
that you asked that because
Yeah.
I never talk about that.
Wait, where is he? Can we call him? Well, I just want, if you're watching, I just want to let you know you're very lucky. You have a very beautiful girlfriend and soon to be wife. Where's the ring? She is like, and I can see she's very happy. I can see it. I'm so happy. Thank you for
so much.
coming.
Thank you for
Oh my
having me
gosh.
and
Okay,
joining in on
I
this.
think he's gonna propose one of these days. I have a feeling.
I got the magic
I know,
crystal
right?
ball. Let's see.
I have a baby, and she's gonna buy a date like her gonna marry like a woman. Okay, my advice. I cannot really advise actually, honestly, because I have, when I advise, I always advise from my experience. But I thank God. But this is what I have seen and noticed when I talk to people that have addictive problems. Oftentimes, they blame their addiction from their past
Mm-hmm.
and their family. I don't know why, but I don't know why. But for me, I went through a lot as well. Forget about your past and use your past, and experiences to encourage and inspire other people. And do not blame your parents or your past or your family or someone that have hurt you, because this is your life. You chose to do this. So forgive whoever have hurt you. Forgive your past. Forgive the people that led you to do this, and shut down the door of your past and get out there instead of getting addicted to helping others and give love to others. It's easy for me to say this since I have not been in that situation. But I used to have like a shopping addiction. Used to. But I hope I made sense, and I hope you learned something today from our beautiful, courageous guest, Marissa. And so my tip of the day, addiction is an illness. And like any other illness, it can be treated. If you or someone is struggling with addiction, seek out for help and help them. Be there as a friend. So that wraps up our episode for today.
Thank
Oh my
you
gosh,
so
and
much.
thank you for olive and whiskey for my earrings. I'm addicted to these earrings. Can I? Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
Teresa.
much.
And
Thank
I
you.
hope we have inspired you women out there, and whoever, who's going through the same situation, and you want to drink wine all the time. Wine is good, but don't just overdo it. And if you think that your parents or your friends did this to you, don't blame them. Instead, forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other things? Oh, don't forget her website. And if you need to talk to someone, she's always available to
Yes.
help.
Yes.
Yes.
We only get one life.
Yes.
No dress rehearsals, no repeats, so enjoy it.
Oh, so good. Thank you so much. Where can they watch her film?
Contact me at www.grace-the-movie.com and I will see you there.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God, thank you.
This is amazing. I've learned so much. Oh my God, hello. Don't forget to give love to one another. And Give love.
You're listening to Polished
after
Woman,
the show.
only on LA Talk Radio.